What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today I will be reviewing Casualty Series 25. So without further ado, let's get into it. The 25th series of Casualty contained 47 episodes and aired from the 4th of September 2010 until the 6th of August 2011. And modern viewers who've only seen Casualty in recent years, I would say they would feel very comfortable watching Series 25. I would say it's the first truly modern series of Casualty for a number of reasons, but let's not hang about, let's get straight into the review. Series 25 marks a definite shift from a medical drama to more character-focused storylines. Now, Casualty has always been a show built around its characters, but let's face it, series prior to Series 25 put a lot of attention on medical procedures and to a lesser extent hospital bureaucracy. Series 25 is more character-focused, and there's often a criticism of modern Casualty that it has lost its ability to just be a medical drama. It's too heavily focused on the main characters. It's become a soap opera rather than a medical drama series. And I'd say Series 25 is when this started to happen, because a lot of the storylines in Series 25 are heavily focused on the main characters. But if you ask me, if a show has really strong characters, then it won't be a problem if the series is just focusing its storylines on those characters. And luckily, Series 25 has really compelling and likeable characters as well. I can't think of a single character in Series 25 that I don't like. And more importantly, I can't think of an actor which isn't perfectly cast for the role. They're all amazing in this series, and the storylines which the writers throw them into just really work. Series 25 deals with a lot of darker and more taboo subjects such as bipolar, domestic abuse, rape. These are all very controversial issues which at the time in 2010 and 2011 were not really touched on in the mainstream. So I think Series 25 deserves a lot of credit for tackling these issues head on, especially including likeable characters involved in these storylines, because you care about these characters. So when they're involved in more darker and controversial storylines, it just works. It brings a lot of these subjects to the viewer's attention. Now, Series 25 opens with a really strong opening. It's a school shooting episode, and the aftermath of that school shooting dominates the series. The ED's reputation is questioned in the aftermath of that, and a lot of Series 25 is the staff trying to make it clear that the ED is a safe space and that, you know, they don't deserve any of the criticism which is thrown at them. So I do enjoy Series 25. It has a lot of darker themes. It is more character focused than ever before, but with the characters we've got, that's not a bad thing whatsoever. Speaking of these more character focused storylines, one from this series is my personal favourite, and that is Ruth's mental breakdown and eventual bipolar diagnosis. Now, Ruth is a character I've always loved. I think Georgia Taylor is an amazing actress, and Casualty were very lucky to have her. And Ruth has been through a lot in the ED throughout this time. She tried to commit suicide when she first arrived. But in this series, she has a mental breakdown, which is heartbreaking to watch. You can see it coming. It's built up for months. The breakdown of her marriage combined with the stress of her work eventually just leads her brain to crumble. And there's a fantastic episode in this series set primarily in a psychiatric ward where Ruth has been sectioned. And it's a great episode because it's basically Ruth trying to figure out that there is actually something wrong with her, and she does need to accept help from the medics if she wants to get back on track. And I just think that's a great episode. Georgia Taylor was fantastic throughout this series, and it's great by the end of this series, Ruth is back on form, she's back as a doctor, and she's where she belongs, in the ED. Other storylines, we have nurse Kirsty Clements' domestic abuse storyline. Lucy Gaskell was amazing in that storyline. It was very sad that she left just over a year after being in the programme because she was a phenomenal actress. And I really enjoyed this domestic abuse storyline. I think it was handled with care and attention, and it showed how domestic abuse relationships are often complex, and it's not always very easy for the victim to leave, especially as Kirsty has a daughter and she doesn't want her husband to start abusing the daughter if she leaves. Polly's death. Ambulance technician Polly is stabbed by a patient in this series, and that is such a tragic death. I think I included it in my top 5 casualty death video. And just the aftermath of her death, you can see how everyone in the ED is struggling, especially paramedics Dixie and Jeff, because of course they loved Polly. She was kind of like a daughter to them, so for them to lose her in such a tragic way was devastating for them. New characters that arrive in Series 25, we have Nurse Mads, who is a Muslim, and they do a good job with that, with her identity. We get to see some elements of Muslim culture, which is really interesting. We also see how difficult it is, well, especially at the time, for a Muslim woman to have feelings for like a white man who's not a Muslim, because junior Dr. Lenny and Mads grow very close, but Mads is always conflicted over whether she can really be in this relationship with Lenny, because she knows her family and community would not approve of it. And then later in the series, Mads is raped, which is a really dark storyline. I mean, Mads' rape storyline is handled really well, especially as it's because Mads is a Muslim, she's so ashamed of being raped that she refuses to tell the police. And it was great to see Lenny support her, and eventually by the end of the series, Mads does inform the police about the rapist, which is really good, because that's what people should do. They should report rape when it happens, otherwise these people get away with it again and again. And of course, the best new character of Series 25 is of course Consultant Dylan Keogh. William Beck, he was amazing from his very first episode. Now, Dylan isn't really involved in any high-profile storylines in Series 25. He kind of feels guilty after Polly's death. But his main purpose in Series 25 is comedy, and he's amazing. Rewatching this series, it really does show how much Dylan has mellowed in recent years, because way back in Series 25, he's just a sarcastic pig, and I love him for it. He's amazing throughout the episodes he's in Series 25, and he adds so much joy and comedy to the series. And you do need comedic characters. Series 25, you really do see the development of the Big Mac and Noel friendship, and while those characters aren't exactly involved in massive storylines, they're the comic relief. And you do need comic relief in a series which is dealing with darker themes, because it just does give some relief for the viewers. Now, we have quite a few departures in Series 25. We have junior Dr. Yuki Reid leave. He covers for Lenny because Lenny tries to get a bone marrow transplant through, and you're not actually allowed to do it. The way Lenny goes about it is wrong, so Yuki covers for him and goes off, which I felt was nice. It was a nice conclusion to their friendship from Series 24. We see, of course, Polly's death, which is tragic. We also see Kirsty leave at the end of her domestic abuse storyline, and I really like Kirsty's departure. I think it works well. Seeing her symbolically throw her ring over the bridge as she then walks off with her daughter for a new life, I just think that works really well, and it kind of sealed off that chapter in a really positive and uplifting way. But honestly, the best departure of Series 25, and probably one of my most favourite departures, is the departure of Consultant Adam Trueman. Now, Adam, let's face it, he's never recovered from his son's tragic death in Series 24. And throughout Series 25, we see that he's struggling with that. He does form a close relationship with Kirsty, and I think that keeps his mind occupied. But when Kirsty's decides that, you know, she doesn't want to be in a relationship right now, she wants to focus on her daughter, Adam goes down quite a dark path. He gets a very high moral attitude. He won't treat patients who he feels don't deserve it. And of course, that's not what doctors should do. So in the end, after a number of mistakes with this attitude, Adam decides to resign, because he knows that clinical lead Nick will probably risk his career to protect Adam. So he decides to just cut out the middleman and resign himself. And I really like the final shot between Adam and Nick, because these two have never really got on. They've been two alpha males trying to work in the ED together. And the final shot of Adam walking out of the ED as a somber casualty theme plays, and he just looks at Nick, Nick looks at him, and then Adam just leaves. I think that's a really great scene, because it shows the mutual respect they both had towards one another. And Tristan Jamal, who portrayed Adam Trueman, he was great throughout his 4 years on the series, and it was so sad to see him go in the manner that he did. So my final thoughts on Series 25 of Casualty It's a great series of Casualty, and I would say it's the first truly modern series of Casualty. It's a lot more character focused, but you've got great characters, so that's not really a problem. Some of the storylines in this series are darker, but that's not a bad thing because they bring to light very controversial issues which aren't discussed very often. Some of the new characters introduced, especially Dylan, are amazing, some of my personal favourite, and some of the departures in this series are also really strong, especially Adam's departure in the series finale. That just works really well, and as I've said it before and I'll say it again, Tristan Jamal, he was a true delight in the role of Adam throughout his run on Casualty. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed my Casualty Series 25 review. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. I've just started watching Series 26. I watched the first episode of it yesterday, so I'm really looking forward to looking back and seeing what I enjoy about that series, and I will see you in another one. See ya!